Hello, it's time for another Mr. JC how-to video. Today on my 2008 Jeep Wrangler X, we're going to do some suspension work. This Jeep has a ProComp 4-inch lift kit. And with that lift kit, you get some rock crawler control arms like these. That is the front. And there's the rear control arm. Right there. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I went to the Kansas Rocks Recreational Off-Road Park, and my Jeep was squeaking like crazy. So, after looking underneath, I found that the control arms had grease fittings, and at one end of each of these control arms was what's called a Del Sphere flex joint. And today we're going to rebuild one of those control arm flex joints. Now, to remove the control arm, you'll need a 13/16 wrench and a socket. I took it off with an impact. There's a bolt here and a bolt at the other end, and then the control arm will drop down and you can remove it. Okay, here's what the control arm looks like after it's off the vehicle. And it had some paint peeling and surface rust, so I used my die grinder and an abrasive pad to clean it up, and when I'm finished rebuilding the joint, I will paint it up and it will look like new again. Here's a close-up of the joint. It moves in the socket here. One side has a snap ring. The other side has a set screw. If you can quite see that right there. That set screw will line up with one of these grooves to hold it in place. And as you can see, there is a grease fitting. This particular control arm did not have a grease fitting in it, and appeared that it was never lubricated. So we are going to take this apart and rebuild it. Okay, we have a ProComp $55,770 flex joint rebuild kit. And what this consists of is a wrench for putting in those grooves I was showing you, and 4 sets of nylon bushings So now we're going to take this joint apart. Like I said, I've removed the set screw that holds the threaded part of the joint in place. And then we're going to insert this tool and unscrew this plate. Now you might need to put the control arm in a vise and use a dead blow on this wrench to get this started. And inside is the nylon insert. Okay, I've removed the nylon insert and the ball assembly. And now we need to remove the insert from the other side. Okay, I went ahead and removed the snap ring from the other side, and then there's a washer and the other bushing. So now I'm going to clean this up and go ahead and paint it, and then put the new bushings in and get it all put back together. Okay, I've got the control arm all painted. I used a spray-on truck bed liner, and what I did in here, I put some tape in here so the paint would not get on the threads. So we're going to take that out, and I used a little emery cloth in there, clean it up a bit. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put in one of the new nylon bushings. And we're going to put a little oil on that. A little bit of grease. See if we can go from the other side. Okay, the bushing and the washer are in. Needed to use the dead blow hammer a little bit to get that in there. Now we're going to put the snap ring in. make sure that's seated properly. And in its groove, just like that. Alright, let's make sure the bushing is seated on that side. Now I'm going to fill this area with grease around that bushing. Alright, now we've got the grease in here. This is the same area that'll fill with grease when you grease the fitting. That'll be right up here. And we're going to put some grease on the bushing, of course. And here's the ball. It's all cleaned up. Used a bit of emery cloth on that for these corroded areas, but it's in pretty good shape considering I don't think it had ever been greased. So we're going to put some grease on that. And then we're going to drop that in there. And put our other bushing in. Alright, now we're going to put our threaded lock washer, lock nut in here. And I'm going to put some grease on that also. There it goes. I'm going to use our wrench, the wrench that came with the rebuild kit. Now it's a matter of preference how tight you want this. It should probably be pretty snug. And I'm going to work it around, make sure the grease gets moved around in there, and see just how snug it'll be. And as you can see, grease came out because that is where the grease fitting goes. So I had plenty of grease in there. Now, our set screw hole needs to line up with one of these notches. And don't know if I'm going to be able to tighten it to the next one. Maybe so. Yeah, that should be fine. Alright. Now I put some anti-seize on this set screw because while I was waiting for the paint to dry on this, I took the other side off and the set screw would not come out. So I had to break it off and then drill it out. So hopefully we don't want that to happen again. Okay, I was able to go, probably 1 or 2 turns tighter with that as it squeezed the grease out. And then it's pretty snug here. But if I backed it off to the next notch, the nut is loose. So we're going to go ahead and put our set screw in. Like so. Get the anti-seize off of there. Now we're going to put our grease fitting in. And I'm going to tighten that up with a wrench after I get it back in the vehicle. I did a little bit of modification to the bracket that holds this because it was not possible to actually get the grease gun on there. There just wasn't enough room. And I'll show you that modification after I set this back up in the car. But anyway, the joint is rebuilt and the arm is all cleaned up and painted, and it's ready to install. Now, as you can see right here, where the grease zerd is very close to the frame. And what I did was a little bit of cut this out just a little bit right here so that I can actually get the grease gun on there when I need to grease those fittings, and I won't have to take the control arm loose and move it around a little bit. Okay, well, that's pretty much it for this video. Gonna do the other 3 control arms in the same way, and should be good to go. No more squeaking. I hope this video has been helpful to someone, and if I do another project on my Jeep, I will let you all know. Thank you for watching.